Welcome back. Well, we are now learning more and more details about the gunman who opened fire at that 4th of July parade in Highland Park, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago. The death toll has now risen to 7. Over 30 were injured. New details, though, prove that in 2019, the Highland Police Department had visited the home of Robert Crimo III at least twice. One visit in April 2019 regarded a suicide attempt by the young, deranged man. Authorities then made another visit 5 months later, in September, we're told. Authorities say at that time, this again, very disturbed young man. I mean, you only have to go on social media for about 30 seconds to see that all cylinders weren't firing upstairs, or a few sandwiches shy of a full picnic here on this guy. So on this one in September, he was making threats against his family, using phrases like, "I'm going to kill you." Gee, maybe that should have sent him some red flags back then. During that September visit, we're told that officers removed, I want to make sure I get this right, 16 knives, a dagger, and some medieval-like sword from his home at that time. Now, in regards to Monday's shooting, Crimo now facing 7 counts of first-degree murder. Among the victims, as we're learning more and more about these 7 from Monday's shooting, what a heartbreaker this one is. Parents Kevin and Irina McCarthy. And this is what makes it so tough. The McCarthys leave behind a little 2-year-old son named Aiden. Highland police say Aiden, there he is, look at this, sweetheart. Aiden was found wandering in the streets after the shooting. Both of his parents killed right in front of him. A GoFundMe page has been created to support him. So far, $2 million since Monday. Wow. We're told that little 2-year-old will now be raised by his grandparents amid losing both of his parents. Now, of course, when something like this happens, what does the left do? Immediately, we need to take more guns, and we need more gun control for those law-abiding citizens, because that will stop a 21-year-old like that young man from shooting the parents of that precious little 2-year-old. Yep, I'm sure that will fix it all. Anyway, Tuesday, our beloved vice president, who literally can't put together 2 sentences to save her life. I mean, we know how this woman got to the top, and it wasn't standing on her own 2 feet. I don't need to go any further. I think you know how she got to the top. Anyway, so yesterday, they got to do the photo op thing. Even though the woman can't find the border to save her life and stop the invasion, because they don't want it stopped at her southern border, oh, she can make it out to Highland Park, though, right away. And what's the first thing she does when she goes to a dinner after going out and meeting police and victims? Well, she says, let's go after the guns, of course. Watch.
Congress needs to have the courage to act and renew the assault weapons ban. Let's talk about what an assault weapon is designed to do. An assault weapon is designed to kill a lot of human beings quickly.
So that was at some sort of fundraising event or something, of course, in Chicago. But when she was out on the streets, acting like a concerned vice president, trying to speak with the victims and the people after this horrific incident on Monday, what does she do? Spews her usual word salad of repeating the same thing or same word or same phrases while making no damn sense at all.
And we got to take this stuff seriously as you are, because you have been forced to have to take it seriously.
Seriously, we need serious action from serious people, seriously. Joining me now to discuss the latest information on the gunman and also how Democrats, of course, are using another deadly tragedy to go after law-abiding gun owners, Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Congresswoman, let's begin first. I want to take a step back to this, I think it's Crimo, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Crimo III, this very disturbed man. Why is it every time one of these things happen, we find out, whether it's Parkland, Florida, Uvalde, Texas, Buffalo, all of them, there's previous law enforcement engagement There were warning signs. There were red flags. Yet parents, friends, educators, local cops do nothing. And then something like this happens where a little 2-year-old now had to watch his parents be murdered in front of him. It's not the damn gun's fault. It's society's fault. And it's obviously somebody in that town specifically who missed red flags after the cops were called twice to this sicko's home.
Well, Dan, I'm going to say the same thing to you that I've been saying since this tragedy happened on July 4th, is that it takes a lot of horrible things to kill the human soul. As this person, Bobby Crimo, obviously is a dead human on the inside, to pull such a horrific incident. But we know the truth. I'm demanding his records, because it's always the same story for all of these mass shooters. They grow up in a bad home, whether it's physical abuse, sexual abuse. They also have a history of mental health problems, possibly drug abuse, SSRI usage, which causes and has side effects, and you can look it up and read it anywhere, suicide and homicidal thinking. And you just told us all about how Bobby Crimo, in the past few years, they had called the police because he was suicidal. He's on record for saying he wanted to kill his family. I guarantee you he is one of those that was prescribed SSRIs, and they don't want to talk about it. But this guy doesn't deserve his rights to privacy for his record, because he decided to go on a rooftop and murder people on July 4th, where they were in basically what we can call a killing field with a gun-free zone, because Illinois has the strongest, strictest gun control laws on the record. So, if we want to talk about Kamala Harris and her, saying the same stupid words over and over again, she should read the laws on the books, because they had an assault weapons ban. Right. They had red flag gun laws in place, and none of it stopped Bobby Crimo. As a matter of fact, he was able to murder people easily with their own Democrat laws in place, the same ones that my colleagues in Congress are screaming for every single day. Right.
The now mayor, I forget her name, but the female mayor in Highland Park, who used to be on city council in 2013, so 9 years ago, they enacted even stricter laws for Highland Park than the state had. That didn't stop a sicko from getting a gun, and now we're hearing maybe dad helped him, which is crazy, after he would threaten to kill some of his family members. Again, we got to start holding people accountable for their actions, and that includes the parents of these young, disturbed men, and they want to go after the gun manufacturers. Okay, why don't they ever talk about going after Big Pharma? Oh, that's right, because so many of folks in the body where you work, but we know you're not, Marjorie, because we see your donations, because too many damn politicians are in the back pocket of Big Pharma. That's a lot more money than the gun lobby, let me tell you, right?
Absolutely. Big Pharma controls everything, from the fact that many people were forced to take COVID vaccines, lost their jobs for it. National Guardsmen were kicked out. Military members were kicked out. You name it. Doctors,
it's bigger than oil. It's bigger than auto. It's bigger than gun. It's the biggest lobby in D.C. It's disgusting. It's killing people, whether by the pill itself or by messing up their brain to go shoot people. It's the damn pills. Anyway, I'm going to get myself in trouble on that one. Marjorie, I want to pivot real quick to a little bit more about this man, because the minute this happened, the first thing the lefties did in some of the mainstream media is they pulled a picture of him at a Trump rally a couple of years back and said, oh, he must be a right-wing conspiracy theorist Trump supporter. No, if you look at the picture, he's wearing a Where's Waldo, and he was trolling people at the Trump rally. He was not a Trumper. He's not a MAGA person. So I'm not going to allow that narrative to be spewed by the mainstream media. Are you hearing in D.C. the same thing? Is this the talking points for Dems, is to get it out? This guy was a right-winger, like they tried with Buffalo. Even that guy had posts, though, against Trump, against Fox News and other conservative outlets. He was not a conservative either. But they want to paint all these killers as conservatives.
Oh, of course they do, Dan. That's the narrative over and over again. But they can't do it with this guy, because all of his likes and things he posted on his own social media prove that he was a leftist. As a matter of fact, he liked a social media post saying that I should be in jail for January 6th. Oh. So I can tell you right now, really? I know for a fact that Bobby Crimo is not a Trump supporter. He's not a Marjorie Taylor Greene fan either. He is a radical leftist. And the pages he liked on his own social media account, He liked our Vice President, Kamala Harris. He followed her. I don't follow her. I bet you don't follow her. He also liked the CDC. I don't like the CDC's page. I don't follow the CDC, but many leftists do. I mean, he was as mainstream Democrat as you can get. He was not a Trump supporter and not one of ours.
Well, since Illinois won't give him the death penalty, somebody's going to like him as their boyfriend as soon as he gets in prison. That's about the only solace we'll have in saying he'll get a little payback in life. But anyway, because I don't think Illinois does the death penalty anymore. Liberals. Let me pivot. This is totally off subject, but I know you're upset, like every American should be upset, about our gas prices. So I have a bunch of headlines I want to show the American people here so they know what the hell Biden's been doing since he blames everything on Putin. So you guys just throw up the headlines as I read them off. Biden to shut off all federal drilling on and offshore federal land. Biden to shut down the Permian Basin. Permian Basin is our largest wells and area in this nation. They provide a big portion of our oil, folks. He's shutting the Permian Basin down. And then the one that really chaps my behind is at 500 million barrels that we sent overseas to try and ease international oil price burden. How about you're supposed to be the president of the United States, which that's questionable, allegedly you're the president. Why don't you try and ease our burden? So we're sending oil overseas. We're shutting everything down on and off coast, yet it's all Putin's fault, not Joe Biden's decisions. Yeah, right, Marjorie.
Yeah, this is the problem, though. This is what the Democrats want. It's the Green New Deal. So they want to murder and kill our fossil fuel industry, Dan, while they're propping up Europe's energy sector. So we can wrap this in to this war in Ukraine that we shouldn't be fighting against Russia. We should be staying out of that thing. And it's very much about energy. So while they're destroying our ability to be able to have affordable gas and diesel fuel and not doing anything to help Americans' energy independence, they're very much interested in being the provider for energy for Europe in the form of natural gas, particularly liquid natural gas. And this is something that's going to continue. And I'm telling you, I am appalled at what's happened to the people of Ukraine and completely against that war. But I have voted solidly against all of the sanctions and against all of the money going to that war over there. And I'll tell you why, because it has a lot to do with, number one, money laundering in that country. Number two, destroying our energy industry and propping up Europe's. And this is doing nothing but helping Putin, because he's making more money on Russian oil and gas than he was before this war started. And China is the one sitting back just hoping it happens, that America and Russia go to nuclear war with one another, because China will be the winner of all of it. So this is a dangerous time for our country, Dan, and we need to be very serious in demanding that this administration and that Congress, both parties, get serious about helping America's energy independence and propping up our oil and gas industry. Because if we don't do that, we're going to be a nation in crisis, and it's going to get much worse than it is right now.
It's not going to happen until Republicans take back over, and the ones we put back in this fall better have the backbone like you and intestinal fortitude to take charge and pull this power from, I don't call him, Joe Biden. That's all I'll say. Marjorie Taylor Greene, representing Georgia's 14th. Thank you so much for coming on the program. Take care.
Thank you, Dan.